Sure.
Let me just try asking you again, like if it's okay with you for recording our conversation so that whatever
Yeah.
questions you have
Yeah.
could be a common FAQ session and then
Yeah. Yeah.
others could benefit from it too.
Sure. 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 Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
tell me how are you? What are you up to?
So yeah. So I am from construction engineering management as well,
Oh,
and
okay.
I completed my BE in 2019 in
BE,
civil
okay.
engineering
From where?
from Bangalore. It is a college called Bangalore Institute of Technology.
Mm-hmm.
So did my undergrad there, and
Okay.
2019 passed out. So after that, I took a gap year for doing MS, like for preparing for MS, like
Right.
preparing for GRE, IELTS, and all that stuff, and work on my application as well, like SOP, LOS, and all.
Uh-huh.
So after that, in December, I started applying shortlisted to all my colleges. I started applying for the 7 universities,
Okay.
and I applied to ASU, Texas A&M, Purdue, Virginia Tech, and Colorado, and NCSU.
Okay.
And to my surprise, I got admitted from all of them. And I chose Texas A&M to be the like, university that I want to go in because they have a lot of good subjects, and
What do you
I
mean
know
other
that
what do you mean other universities don't? Are you trying to
like
insult them? Okay.
no,
Okay, so
nothing
now
like that.
Texas A&M. Okay. So
Yeah.
how can I help you,
Yeah,
Vishal?
so the my thing was like I know that I want to go for Texas A&M for sure, but the thing is because of COVID-19 and all, I'm not sure if next year like I'm still uncertain if next year it's going to be in person or not. Because what if next next fall if same this kind of situation happens, and because I only took one defer I had and I won't be allowed for second defer, so should I still take an online mode of teaching if next fall turns out to be online?
Okay, so when are you planning on coming here? Firstly, fall 21, right?
Fall 21.
Okay, so that's a long time from now, I guess. By then,
Mhm.
situations might just calm down because the vaccines are out now too, and here they are discussing about how they distribute it and things like that. So I think what you're talking about is at least a few months away from now, and I think by then the situation would be very nice. Instead, do you have any backup plans? What would you do if you had have to defer it? Do you have any backup plans?
I actually know because I am like determined to go because
Good.
I that is what I really want to.
Well, if that's the
Uh,
case, Vishal, I don't think any other option to be
yeah.
valid here. If you're determined, I think that's the best
Mm.
reason, according to me, to come here. But just
Okay.
to answer your question a little more logically, we can say, again, we can't vouch for anything that's happening around. But here's the
Mm.
thing: like, if I were you, I would have definitely thought about this because it's a lot of financial investment and things like that. But my first
Mm.
point is, you're coming in fall. Your semester would
Mm.
start around August, September. When is
August
that?
end.
August
Yeah.
end, right?
August end.
So yeah, it's almost a lot of months from now, and I think by then the situation is definitely
Yeah.
going to improve something because even today,
Mm.
a lot of students are going on campus for studying. I mean, although they are mandated to take
Okay.
COVID test every week or like every week, yeah,
Mm.
there's a mandation for them to take the COVID test, but it's
Mm.
all going normal. If you talk about industry wise, I've seen a lot of new jobs coming up, and a lot of industry
Yeah.
is just resuming and standing back on its feet again. So if that's happening today amidst COVID, already when America is going through a second wave, I don't think
Okay.
a few months from now, by the time you come, would
Okay.
things be any bad. Plus, you would be eligible for applying for internships in other things once you are
Other
here
thing.
for at least 2 semesters. So we are
Yeah.
talking about more than a year and a half
1 year.
here.
Yeah. More.
So
Mm.
I think by then, like situations could change
Will be.
anyhow, and that should not be a parameter anymore for you to make any decisions. I feel or anybody else is because people who came here did not anticipate that COVID is going to come, and still they did
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I mean, amidst all that, so
Mm.
anything can happen. Tomorrow there can be another pandemic, but there are a few things you can focus on though, like your university admission. I feel is a very good choice. Texas is one of the hot states for construction.
Yeah.
I know a few companies there which are really, really well, like the top named companies
Mm.
in the construction industry in
The
America.
construction industry. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Texas is one of the states which is not so expensive too. So you have a lot of savings as
Yeah.
compared to going in states like
True.
California, New York, and
Mm.
things like that. So I think that's a great choice.
Actually.
And Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like those are were another points that I considered choosing for Texas A&M, because I contacted other seniors as well, and they told me like as a student perspective and as an international perspective, Texas A&M will be an plus point for you, because cost of living is less and the temperature there, like weather condition, is more favorable because it's near the equator region, falls almost, like it's not that cold compared to those of the eastern states up there. Yeah,
No,
so
I think
like
that's a great
Texas
choice,
A&M
dude. In long term, like if you get a job in Texas, you're saving a lot on your state tax too, you know.
taxes
So
as
I
well.
think that's
Yeah.
a great choice. A&M is
Mm,
definitely one of the reputed universities about that. And I think that choice, if I were you, I would have done that too. Like, you know, I would have looked at other states like, you know, possibly Arizona, Utah, Colorado. These
uh,
are the states where, like, you know, there are ample opportunities, at least for infrastructure construction projects.
mm,
So I
mm.
think that's going great for you. So I think that's a great
Uh,
choice.
And actually, that was my follow-up question that you, I think, kind of answered, that how is construction industry doing there? Because I know that for some period of time the construction was stopped, but later it was put into the necessary uh, section, like they called it an essential job or something like that. But again, it was pulled up.
Yes, right. So even like the company I work for had given us a mandatory like a certificate to keep in our trucks, which was like, you know, we are
Mm,
essential employees, and it was longer back when the COVID situation was pretty serious, even though it is now today. But people have lost
mm,
the touch to the seriousness aspect of it anymore. So I think the industry is going good. And I think, as
mm,
far as I know, I think every industry is coming up the same pace. So the
mm,
other thing was, yeah, the construction industry again is doing well. I feel,
mm,
especially looking at, like, you know, you can see a trend when you go to LinkedIn or any of the famous websites where you actually have an interface to look for networking or opportunities for job from where you apply for jobs. You would see a
mm,
lot of jobs reopening again as compared to what those were by the time when it was April, May, June. I saw those were the
mm.
times where people and the construction companies were pretty hesitant
Okay.
because they were unsure of what's going to happen, what are the regulations that's going to come. But now I think it's fairly open.
Mm.
Even with President Biden coming in, I think he's going to mandate a few things about masks and things like that. So it's all precautionary now. It's
Precaution.
nothing is preventive anymore, like, you know.
Mm, mm, mm,
So
mm,
I feel, well, this is a very good time in the construction industry, especially. I've worked in infrastructure and construction aspect. So in that, what happens is most of the jobs usually take a year or two to complete. And
mm,
like if you look at a
mm,
state like Utah, we have
mm,
harsh winters where we actually see a
mm,
lot of snow. So our projects
mm.
have to end by a certain time. Like usually it's the Thanksgiving
Months.
period.
Okay.
After that it gets
Mm.
slow, and then we wait for the next year to for the summer to come back.
You're
And
right.
so there's a lot of
Mm.
backlogs on most of the construction projects, and of course weather
Okay.
is one big thing that makes a huge difference in the construction industry.
Right. Right.
But over
Yeah.
in all, just to answer your question in a nutshell, this could be a big topic to talk about, but in a nutshell,
Mm.
I think, Vishal, you don't have to worry about construction jobs as
Construction.
such. I would say all what you can do is, and I regret a few things when I was in the school times. I could have done better is gotten
Mm.
some certifications, appeared for some exams like LEED lead or
Mm.
CMIT, or there's an
Mm.
ACI Associate Constructor examination. So those are the extra things that I
Can I
would
do?
want to do. What's that?
Can I take those exams right here in India, like
You can
during
start
this time,
preparing.
or
You can start preparing for
okay,
them.
preparing?
Yeah, you can start
And
preparing
from
for
where
them.
can I get those materials?
So just
Like,
Google,
should I
you'll
need to
find
go
their
to the
own
website?
websites. You can find their own
Okay.
websites. If you want, just shoot
Mm.
me an email. I can send you the links and some of the course materials that I have for that subject
Okay.
or for that
Mm.
exams. And but I think that
Mm.
should be one thing on your list.
Okay.
I think you can do that from India. Try learning some softwares like Bluebeam or P6. Just
Mm.
try playing with it. Like, you know, there's free versions of free trials for
Be
a month that you
flexible
can
with it.
get for
Okay.
Bluebeam, and P6 is of course a free trial you can play with forever.
Mm. Mm.
But if you just get accustomed with these softwares which are very commonly used here, I think that'll be a
Mm.
good heads start to your career here in America.
And one more thing, my follow-up question, one more question I had, and I think most of the international students have that right now, is the regulations that were put in effect by Trump. Will those be still
Oh,
in
don't
effect
worry about them.
regarding?
I
Yeah.
personally, you know, nobody like, you know. I mean, I can. Again, it's a political question, and I can't vouch for my comments here. But let me
Yeah.
tell you what the approach is for all the students here who are like, you
Mm.
know, behind getting H1Bs. when we come together, we
mm,
discuss about these policies. We laugh at. I mean, not laugh at it like heh, 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 but it's like we just laugh it off because there have been such strict things coming in the in the like in the regulations, but those were never imposed for long period. And I think from what I know of
okay.
President Biden, honestly, it's favoring a lot of immigrants. I think they are even considering
International.
the cap, the country cap thing to be eliminated for processing more green cards. Like India is starting
Yeah,
at seven
I heard it
percent.
somewhere. Yeah, as well.
So you don't worry about H1Bs in
Mm-hmm.
that now. It's far way too ahead from you right now. You know, it's just start
Okay.
thinking about first step is like getting here, getting a good part-time job or something like that, and getting good courses that interest you and doing well, making good networks, making good
Mm,
connections, talking to your professors about your interest. So make sure your
mm,
career line trajectory is defined pretty well. I think that is one
mm,
thing that would definitely help you. Don't worry about the things that are beyond your control right now. You know, after you coming here, like just to give you an example, when I came, my course was non-STEM. I had almost kept my
okay.
mind ready that I'll have to leave in a year, but things changed tremendously for me. Like the semester I graduated, it got
Right.
changed to STEM. You know,
Mm,
so let's not talk about
mm,
something that's way ahead in the future. Of course, we
yeah.
should be planning about it,
Mm,
but don't worry. You have a
mm.
CPD for OPD for
Three.
3 years,
Yeah.
and
Two
then
plus one.
yeah, I think that
Mm,
always is a good option, and you always have backup plans. And I can talk to you more
mm,
about it, but of course not right
mm.
now. But I
Okay.
think that should not be a factor that should worry you anymore. I feel.
Mm. And yeah, one more question that thing I want to
You
ask is
keep on adding
like
questions.
we,
Huh?
yeah,
But
like there's one more like I did an internship here, like, and I'm currently doing a traineeship now. So I just want to know, like, do this experience done here in India do really count towards me, like when I'll be giving interviews, or I'll be going for that fair. Sorry, I
career
forgot that
fairs.
career fair,
No,
career fairs. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. The one thing
So
is, in my experience, I'll tell you, Vishal, I've seen a lot of students coming here with no experience. Like I myself had no experience, and I've seen a few too who show some experience, even though when they have a little of it, like because they believe ki having a certificate and having that thing on your resume really helps. But I would say your experience would help you a lot better in understanding your coursework if you have an experience because you have
right.
worked
Yeah.
on those things, so you can
Mm,
start thinking about that, and that is a big advantage. That
yes.
is a big advantage.
Yes.
Live the fact that will it help you for getting a job.
Mm,
I mean, I for me it's irrelevant now because I've realized I've seen a lot of students who did not have any experience, yet the
mm,
American companies give you an opportunity to understand if you're willing to
okay.
work hard, because all they expect is they don't expect you to change the turnover or trajectory of the project growth
Mm,
in 6 months or 7 months.
6 months.
All what
Mm,
they
mm,
expect is when you come here, you're hardworking, you're willing to put your effort, you're willing to learn, and that is one thing I've learned a lot. Like I'll tell you, I've worked here for a year as an intern and almost about 15 months as a full-time job. And I'll tell you, I have a lot to learn in this industry, a lot, and that
mm,
never ends. So that little experience you have in India
mm.
is not going to make a huge difference, practically,
Okay.
logically too, if you think of it,
Log.
right? Because you're coming here for a long career, and
Mm,
there are things you might want to get accustomed with the American construction way, is what I believe, honestly.
mm,
And so I would say, if you have an experience, that'll be a big advantage for you to understand the courses
and the
related to
courses.
it.
Mm.
Does that answer
Because
your question?
one of my friend had this question and he wanted me to ask you because he took a gap year as well, and he did not work for that period, and he was kind of like worried that he did not work for that 1 year, and when he goes there, will it be a kind of a like in the interviews and all, if they ask why didn't you work for 1 year,
I mean, if he has a
in,
genuine
in
reason for
that
that, he should
3 years?
not be worrying about it. All what he should be focusing
Mm,
now is what he can do better. Like, come here, join the different clubs on the campus, be a part,
yeah.
do volunteering,
Mm,
network, show that you are
mm.
doing well in your
Networking and all.
academics, do
Mm,
well in your projects, try asking professors questions
mm,
about your
mm,
interest, try discussing these things with your professional career centers, make a good resume. Put a
mm,
lot of volunteering work
mm.
that you can do on campus. Just go to your professor and
Right.
ask him if there's anybody in your network whom I can work in the companies with voluntarily and things like that. I think these are the
Mm,
things one can focus on right now rather than just
right.
waiting about the things that have happened in the past. I mean, none of us can change it practically, right?
Yes.
And I
Mm,
think it's just like stepping the leg into the pool. Once when you do that, like you just get
mm,
into the water and you have to swim, is what I believe.
yeah.
Like I
Mm,
honestly, like the questions that I've been asked about so much worrisome, like, what should we do about this? What should we do about that?
Mm,
Well,
mm,
honestly, when I came here, I never thought about these at all. Like, I was even like, my course was non-STEM, dude. Like, I was coming there with an
mm,
economical, like, I mean, of course, a financial tech.
yeah.
So,
Mm,
I mean, things would work gradually. I mean, I don't
mm,
take that as an ideal thing. I mean, nobody should do
yeah.
that. But like, I think
Mm,
my mother's intuitions were right, and it worked
mm,
as always it does.
mm,
So, I think for now you should not worry about any other parameters rather than just coming here and focusing on what you can do to make your credentials or credibility as good as possible. Does that make sense?
okay. Yeah, yeah. I understand. Yeah.
Okay, if that
Cool.
answers your question, I think
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And
all
one
the
more,
best.
it's not related to US and all. I just want to know like how much time should I give to pack everything while coming to US, like
To pack
because
your bags, you
I
mean?
don't, yeah, because I don't want to leave anything here that would be important there, which I would not regret not getting it from here India.
I could think of a good joke, but I don't want to say it. Now, I would say keep your mark sheets with you just as a secondary
Okay.
thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, I don't want to talk to you about your clothes, of course. And get good food,
Mm-hmm.
like your home cooked, whatever your mother likes to feed you with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And apart from that, you get all sorts of things here about the grocery and things like that. Once when you come here, you realize that, of course, it's kind of painful to spend some dollars in getting the same stuff that you get
Mm,
in rupees, but you
yeah.
would get used to
Yeah.
that eventually. You would get used to that eventually pretty soon. So if you have a lot of money, you can bring some for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
No. But yeah, if that answers your questions,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reaching out,
Thank
buddy.
you. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks a lot.